Hey, it's Brian Quain of Reason to Believe. I was recently diagnosed as neurodivergent, and I've been on a journey to understand what this means for me. In the process, I realized there's an opportunity to connect with others who share the same desire to learn more about being on the spectrum. So sit back and enjoy stories from my friends, my guests, myself, and the incredible journeys shared on these episodes. You'll hear about obstacles faced, victories achieved, struggles overcome, but most importantly, our passion for belonging and connection. We are wired differently, but thriving always. Reason to Believe is the reason we are proudly autistic. Now, welcome to the show. So, to start this off, I would like you to take 4 deep breaths in, 4 deep breaths out. Now, on the breath out, I want you to say something that you are very thankful for today. So, whenever you're ready, let me know.
Just one thing or one thing for every breath?
One thing for every breath.
Got it.
One thing for every breath. Good call. So, whenever you're ready, go ahead and start. And then,
Okay. My cat, Tiger Lily.
Yay.
My room is gorgeous. Tap into Theater Academy. Alice.
Awesome. Okay. How'd that feel?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they feel appreciated, too, because, let's be honest, Tiger Lily, how adorable. Well, 2 years now? No, a year and a half now?
I guess a year and a half.
Right?
Yeah. I got her, I think, 24. I don't know. I definitely have to. No, 23. I think it's. No, it had to have been 24. 24 in like October.
The last time I saw you.
Yeah.
Was that when you came over to look at like Daniel and Reagan, the 2 cats? And actually,
No, it was for Casey's birthday.
oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we've definitely had, big chunks, of in between. But yeah, I remember thinking that, the little baby boy cat was going to be mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little baby, which is still not baby boy cat now.
Yeah.
Like bigger boy cat
Yeah.
now. Yeah. Daniel is. Yeah, he grew. Well, I guess that's actually a question. I if anybody sat here that I've known for a while, and I'd be like, was that the last time I saw you? It would be a year or so, because I haven't seen anybody. I have not seen anyone, and which was okay until about a month ago, when starting to really, like 2 months, really starting to think about all this, and like, all right, you need to get the wheels going and everything, and start to really talk to people.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Actually, yeah, it was right after the holidays, so we're in April now. Yeah, it's crazy. Like in the last 3 months.
Yeah, I was surprised that April happened. I was like, oh, like it's over. Like every time a month ends, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so quick.
Where to go?
Yeah.
Where to go? Because March, I was like, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. And then finally I went, wait, it's April Fool's Day, which I didn't even think about. But I went, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, April, but it is Autism Awareness Month, so this is a great time to launch.
Oh, how
and
fun, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's awesome to also say, like, you give a lot of thanks to the Academy, and that is huge.
Yeah.
So let's explain that. You definitely, on the breath out, you gave like some appreciation to it, and it's something that I think is very important and a huge reason why you are here.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's massive.
Yes.
And what you do helps me now understand what I'm doing sitting here too. So I don't know if you know that, but you opened a door for me that nobody's done in over a decade. And I can't wait to get into that. Yeah. Because you're probably going, what the hell did I do?
Yeah, I would love to know.
So explain what you do, though. So explain your academy really quick.
I am the owner, director of Tap Into Theater Academy, a pre-professional children's theater located in Winter Garden, Florida. It's tap-centric, and we perform at a professional venue. And right now, currently, we are in the rehearsal process of Moana Jr.
And that's, 6 weeks out, right?
Yeah, May 22nd.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I had to think. There's so many dates. Because not only is it a theater company, there's a dance program, and it's, we're just building and building. And it's just myself and Alice Peterson. So it's we're very busy.
So what made you step into this? What was like something that you said... maybe your background, right? When was the first time you stepped on stage to do something?
Well, I stepped on stage quite early. I was 2 when I started dancing. My sister owns a dance studio. She still does in Michigan. And dance and, started. I just started it. I didn't have a choice. Nobody asked me. And so, I remember my earliest memory probably was a dance recital or pictures, because I always thought the costumes were really itchy. So,
So wait, so you said 2. Mm-hmm. Any video of any of this stuff?
Probably somewhere, but I mean,
10, maybe?
it's kind of a little bummy because we had VHSs back then, and it's somewhere, I'm sure. I have some pictures, but not a ton of video.
And so, what was the first performance you remember? Like, what was or maybe even song that? Because I've heard you sing.
Yeah,
I'm very lucky in my life, man. I've been able to hear you sing.
Thank you.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful voice.
My first dance, I remember we did, because I was absolutely obsessed with the Olsen twins. We did Peanut Butter and Jelly. They sang a Peanut Butter and Jelly song, and I do remember that because it was my favorite song at the time.
I don't even know this.
Yeah, no, it was from their, I think, VHS videos. They did a lot of not small. It was very successful, but they did a lot of 30-minute videos, and that was one of the songs.
Right, because it never went to TV. Right, networks never picked it up. It was just they
had their
only.
own company at very toddler age.
Yeah,
they were very successful.
Because I remember there was the pizza song that became famous because people slowed it down.
Yes.
And it was like that meme, if you will, 20 years ago. So you're very much into production this way, right? Musicals are your thing. Or not just saying your thing, but it's something you're very connected with. You love it.
I do. I grew up in a house where we had musicals constantly playing, and I believe that I grew up in the best Disney time, when Lion King and Aladdin and Little Mermaid. So all of that was constantly playing in the house. So I just kind of thought it was normal. I also sang and danced around the house when I was just feeling, super comfortable.
Now, did everybody watch you while you were singing? Did you demand the attention? Were you like, all right, this is it. It's 4:30, Tina dance time?
Not really. No, I was really kind of shy. And because I was, put into dance and pageants, and I had to do, I did a lot of auditions and stuff, there was a little bit of work to it. So when I would sing and dance around the house, it was to things that I loved, like the Olsen twin videos or the Disney movies. But I did grow up on a lot of musicals and Fred Astaire and all of that. So that was always so just beautiful to me.
So your sister she's up in Michigan. Mm-hmm. Is that where you're originally from? Or
yes.
So what was it like growing up in Michigan at that time?
Well, I mean, that was all I knew. And it was, I never thought I was going to move, to be honest. And I thought I was going to possibly own the studio one day. And because I loved it, I taught there for a really long time. So I just thought that was my fate. But I knew that I wanted to do something different.
And would that be, obviously, coming to Orlando? How many other cities did you feel you were going to try to reach out to? Like, hey, I want to maybe go to Atlanta, or maybe I want to go to Chicago. But was it the theme parks that drew you here, or? Yeah,
it was definitely Disney and the theme parks that drew me here, because I was very in awe of the people that just moved out of their hometown and did something different and hard. And even though I was petrified of the concept, I knew that I needed to do it. So that's what I did. And I didn't really have a plan, or I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I knew that I had something inside me that I was going to figure it out. Mm-hmm. I think everything's figure it outable. It's sometimes very difficult and hard, but I think you can, do anything.
So was it throw things in the car, move to Orlando, or did you have a gig set up to make like, all right, I got the job at one of the, like, wherever you're going, we'll find out. Or was it just like, get in the car and just go, and then like, let's hope that I could land something at one of the parks?
Yeah, it was definitely reckless. And I just packed my car. I had a Ford Fusion at the time, and I packed what fit in it. And I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a place to stay, but I just knew I needed to drive.
No kidding.
And then I would just figure it out.
And is this normally something that you do, or is it just your brain said do it? It was fate.
My brain was just like, do it. And if all else fails, I would just come back.
Do that. I can't do that.
I don't think I would be able to do it the way I did again.
Okay.
But I needed to just check it out.
I'm thankful that you did it.
Yeah.
100%, because look where you are now.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. And so what was the first gig? What was the first role that you were like, all right, I'm here, I'm applying. Who was the first one to say, come on in, Tina?
Panera Bread.
Did you sing at Panera Bread?
I think that was like my first job down here.
Okay.
I went in, I remember, with my laptop because I was trying to just kind of scope out the area and figure out, auditions and what I was going to do. And I happened to be sitting next to, I don't know, the manager of that Panera at the time, and we struck up a conversation, and I started the next day.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what was the first park that you were able to give the freedom to, like, you're going to perform?
SeaWorld was my first park, I think. SeaWorld or Universal. I think it was SeaWorld.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And is that where you were the prince? Because that's where you met Casey,
yeah,
correct?
I did a lot of the events. I did, the Spooktacular event, but I started with a 12-month contract during that time, and it was celebrating SeaWorld's 50th celebration, and it was really neat because we got to just go around the park and hand out prizes.
Okay.
People had to be at the right spot at the right time, but it was my first time kind of being in that environment.
Okay. Yeah. And did it feel good?
It did, because, people wanted to see us. We were dressed in these, bright, you couldn't miss us, these bright, obnoxious costumes.
Very elaborate, like you're
yeah,
okay,
but you couldn't miss us. And it was a lot of fun. And people, had a elevated vacation experience because, maybe they got a VIP package to see the manatees, or maybe they got their dinner, all their food paid for. Nice. So understanding how expensive it is to go to the theme parks, especially now, or that was, I think, 11 years ago, that can really make someone's day, and that is a core memory for.
It really should make their day.
And for the most part, it was
beautiful.
really special, and we got to see, hear stories of people, and I'm sure. I think it's really neat to be in people's vacation photos.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that always made me smile. So it was a very rewarding job. I was very grateful, and it was a lot of fun.
The way you're smiling right now telling that story, just it proves that, yes, you are very much, like, thankful for that. Now, you're right. Yesterday, so let's get into it, because I guess I'm excited to talk about theme parks. Perfect timing. But we were able to have a contractor day. I'm using the quotes, contractor day, and friends and family, but we were on the contractor side of it at Epic. What's it called? Epic Universe?
I think
Epic Universal. Okay, it's just Epic. I'm sure people are seeing the commercials like crazy right now. Very much a huge Harry Potter fanatic. So I love what they did with this section, because there's already been two, Diagon Alley, and that they did at the other parks. This one's a lot different. Very happy. Very happy. I think by now people don't know. Have you ever watched the Fantastic Beasts films or anything like that?
I did watch the first one. I'm
love
not caught up. I know I'm not caught up in a lot of the movies.
Yeah, don't worry, because I know with the fourth and fifth, they're not going to get made. I think that's the whole thing now is, I guess COVID happened, and the third one, they were like, oh, we're just going to stop here. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, oh no.
I love Fantastic Beasts. And, I mean, honestly, I can't believe I didn't even put this together until just now, that the lead character, when you find out Newt is on the spectrum, I never thought of that. Oh, my God, yeah. The lead, yeah. Okay, thank you, J.K. Rowling, for that, amongst other things. But I love How to Train Your Dragon. I love How to Train Your Dragon. I think the first two films are phenomenal.
There's two. Okay, there is two. Okay.
There's three that I know of that's film. Like
Okay.
DreamWorks said, let's theatrical release these. I think I saw the third one. It was okay. And then there's like all these Christmas specials, and like there was also a TV show, I guess.
I see that
Netflix
there's like
did.
a live action one coming, so that will be neat.
So May 25th, which will wait. Your production is a weekday? I thought it was May 25th this film comes out, but yours is 22nd.
Yeah.
So that would mean it would probably be like a Tuesday or Wednesday that you're doing it. Oh, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
So How to Train Your Dragon, love it, love it, love it. Toothless was everywhere, everything. Isle of Berk was awesome. And then Celestial was cool because I did dig the roller coaster that was there. It's actually one of the best roller coasters I've been on in a while.
Neat.
A long while. But I don't remember the last time I was on one. And then the monsters, Universal Monsters, the throwback to like Wolfman and Dracula, Frankenstein. It was good. And Mummy.
How
it was
neat.
good.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, it was good to be back. And what's crazy is you're just sitting at a bar, hanging out. You want to just get a drink really quick because you're expecting these 92-degree days are going to be really hot. Casey and I are sitting at the bar. We meet a couple that's like, so what brings you here? Because, well, they're going to have to, these two, Casey and this guy, are going to have to know each other because maybe they work in whatever construction that's going on. And he knew the job that she's been doing in the company that she works for. But then I start talking to his wife. Somewhere in there, I find out their 9-year-old son is on the spectrum. Mm-hmm. We wound up like hanging out and eating lunch and going on a ride with them. And honestly, it was awesome. It was awesome to be like, okay, this is helping me come down now. Like I was nervous being there, and it's the first time since even pre-COVID, I think, like I've been at a park. And my mind was racing the whole morning going to this place. I was like, oh, this is going to suck. No, it's not going to suck. But I was like, I'm going to be in my own world. Casey's going to be watching me the whole time. Like, is he okay? Is he okay?
Yeah.
I hope he's okay. I was okay. And then we meet this couple, and I'm like, awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was awesome. Go. You should go.
Yeah, no, I definitely.
A year from now, wait till all the
hopefully,
things
yeah,
are done.
Yeah, definitely. Hope we'll go soon.
Yeah. It's going to be. She said it's supposed to be massive. Mario World was not open. That was closed the whole day, so we couldn't even see it. But I still felt it was very small. It was like a very small park. I thought it very much like maybe Islands of Adventure, small. It was supposed to be bigger, but I don't know.
Probably like stages. Like open stuff in stages.
I hope so.
Yeah.
When it comes to it, are you a theme park person? Is that something that you really are into?
Now that I don't work at the theme parks anymore, I am more intrigued to go, but I haven't been in a very long time. But I do enjoy them. I enjoy them the way. Because I live here. I think if I, live somewhere else, it wouldn't be on my radar.
I agree with that. Yeah, me too.
I would probably be doing, or it might just be a very planned. It would be a very planned experience.
Yeah, we have to go on this day, that day. All right, where's the hotel?
And save, have like putting away money because everything is very expensive.
Can you believe this? How expensive everything is. It's just like
it's bizarre. Yeah. It's definitely interesting.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want to say eye-opening because I think our eyes were open, and now I want them to be closed right now and let this all pass by and be like, okay, hopefully when I open my eyes, things won't be so crazy. and they're just getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah, that's why I sing and dance, because it makes me happy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Do what makes you happy. And so glad I'm sitting here, and so glad I'm able to do stories and listen to people's stories, especially if I know my brain is as crazy as it is right now, I guarantee in the last couple of years it's been even crazier and crazier and crazier. And I want to hear other people's stories. I want to align. I want to feel like things are good. And that's where I think we all come in, because we're, not saying everybody's ever going to be on the same page ever, but it's nice to be, like you said earlier, I don't have a lot of friends. Man, that's all I thought this world was about. I have to have friends. Have to have. My friend maintenance, like I seriously was like, oh, got to check in with this person today. Got to check on them, like how they doing. Oh, hey, my couch is open. Come on over. We'll talk for hours. Man, that was exhausting.
Yeah.
And I thought it was helping me in the world, saying like, these people are going to appreciate me. Where are those people now? They're not here. Oh, do they think about me or I think about them? Sure.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody's kind of moving on. And now I feel it's hard to make friends now.
I think the healthiest thing is to have just, a handful of people that celebrate and support you, and you care about them, and vice versa. And I think that, for me, that's kind of, all I need, because I have a very busy life. I don't have, if I had kids or something, and my kids had a lot of friends, and then I have to be friends with their parents, that would be a little different. But, because I have such a busy lifestyle, I don't really have... that's not where I prioritize my time.
So let's get into your busy lifestyle. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing on your mind?
Feeding my cat.
That is amazing. I wish that was mine.
That's always the first thing, because she promptly wakes me up every morning at 8 a.m. So that's my alarm clock.
Oh my God. Let's see. Reagan is about 5:30. She wakes me up.
Oh, yeah, no, I would not be thrilled. At 8 o'clock, I'm not too thrilled, but I'm like, you're right, I have to get up, I have to start my day. So even though it's not, I'm not like jumping out of bed with joy, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm grateful, very grateful for my cat, so I'm happy to feed her.
By 6 a.m., that first mug of coffee is in I'm sipping it. And what does your average day, look like for you?
My average day, I like to walk. So I walk every day, because that's where I try to do a lot of my choreography, like in my head. And then, I get ready for my day. I've been trying to be really adamant about filming my TikTok videos. So I try and film a little bit of content for that. And then I go to work, and then that's usually pretty much an average day.
I have worked alongside 20, 25 different directors in my life. And they're awesome. They do a great job. Again, earlier before we hit record, being able to see like a friend of mine, Sean Baker, who just won all those Academy Awards, being able to work with somebody like that. I think I said this to you 2 years ago, and I think it was either on Nemo or it was on Shrek.
Okay.
I think it was Nemo. That you are hands down one of the best directors I've seen in my life.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Again, I mean, there are Academy Award winning directors that I've worked with, and it's like, you know what you want. Any given line of any production you put on, and from every single kid that you work with, you know exactly what you want. That's impressive, because these are kids.
Yeah, it definitely takes a specialty skill, I think, to work with kids. I've always, growing up, and I grew up around a bunch of artists, so I think I was very fortunate that way. And because I loved music and dance, and a lot of my family taught at the dance studio. We basically grew up there. I would always teach my sister dances or my nieces and nephew dances or put on little shows. So I feel like I've just had my entire childhood to practice.
And I got to tell you, I also feel like it might be this too, is that, you know how they say treat people the way you want to be treated?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also the same way you treat these kids the way that maybe you were wanting to be treated back then too. It has to be stern.
Yeah, it has to be like with structure, because I believe that's how you can get the best result. But, you know, I think what they do is incredibly hard, and I am always so excited to challenge myself and them to have, you know, the best quality product in the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think there's, and that's just a little bit of my personality too.
So I've had the amazing pleasure, and I'm going to look you in the eyes when I say this, it has been an awesome pleasure to see you go from pre-production, from when I feel like the choreography is getting created at that moment, to then maybe 2 weeks later, and we'll also get into that, or is it even 2 weeks later? No. Where you basically have like days later, the kids are now dancing, and then I get to see what it looks like on stage.
Yeah.
On a big stage. On a stage that's not like, oh, here we are at this little theater company, like here it is in this little place, or maybe there's 30 seats.
Right.
You are putting these kids downtown Orlando on a huge stage, and it's awesome. I've gotten to see that. It is so impressive to see what that looks like. Now, let's go to Shrek. Let's say that one.
All right.
Go through the timeline from when you say this is the production we're doing to the curtain falls on the last production day. How long does that look like? How many days do you have from when these kids are like, oh, I'm auditioning. Let's say that, auditioning.
Yeah. It depends on what season we're in, because our summer season is different. We typically put up a show in the summer in about 10 to 11 days. That one is crazy. And
that's what I witnessed.
Yes,
I got to witness
did.
that.
That was
amazing.
Yeah, it's very rewarding to get to see the ins and outs of how it's produced, because I do have a strong feeling that most people have maybe a average concept of what it takes and how much time and thought goes into everything, but there's a lot of things that people don't see. And Alice and I are very passionate about what we do, so we're very proud at the end result. But that one there takes 10 to 11 days from start to finish. So that one's a little, it's definitely intense, and that's why we call it the intensive. But our typical seasons, our spring and fall season, is done over 3 months. There's still about, I think, maybe 20 to 22 rehearsals during the week and every other Saturday. But, that's dedication and hard too. So it's crazy. And to think that we've done 11 shows I'm always really shocked. I'm like, oh yeah, we did do that. That's crazy. Yeah,
That's
it is. I don't have another word.
Because we're going 2 years ago was Shrek.
Yeah, 23. Yeah.
I was like, I saw you post something on that, and I ran to Casey. I was like, oh my God, can you believe that was a year ago?
It is crazy when things like the time, things pop up on your phone and you're like, man, the challenges and things we had to deal with back then were definitely different. I think we're always going to have challenges, but we come at them a little differently now.
Yeah.
So it's really neat to see that growth, and that's very balancing.
The fact that I saw that and my brain went to 1 year, I went, oh man. And I went, no.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
I know. Time flies. Yeah.
I love it.
Same.
And here's the thing, though. I got to meet I get to meet these kids because like being able to be there as a videographer. And I really want to take that step further to interview the kids and talk to them and get to know where their brain goes. And I love these kids' brains.
Yeah.
And I can't believe this because it's one thing that my brain was that as a kid. Trust me, I mean, in 1987, 88, I'm 8, 9, 10 years old. In 85, I was 10 years old. But I wanted to be a breakdancer. Everything in me.
Valid.
I just want to be a breakdancer. Cardboard was everywhere. I just threw it down, and I was great. Windmills, the worm, all of it. I spun on my head, and I was great. To Nucleus's Jam On It, I won second place in a Miami Beach breakdancing competition in like 83, 84.
Impressive.
And yeah, I loved it. So me, I was always on. I just wanted to always perform. I was crazy. So aligning with the kids that way. But I also see it as them needing an outlet to have their brains come down a little, because I've been very lucky to work with kids on the spectrum when I was a teacher when I worked at Apple. I'll just say that. But also being able to meet a lot of kids now. I'm not going to say there's a huge portion, a small portion of the kids that are in your academy, but obviously there are, because it comes to it. They want to, a lot of kids on the spectrum, or whether it's, ADHD, if it's ASD, or if it's wherever they're going. That's something that they love doing. And a lot of the arts really just connects with them. And maybe it's the songs. And that's the question I ask all the time too, is what song do you align with most in this production? And if you had a line from the production, what is one that you would tell somebody right now that means the most to you?
That is so tricky. Because all the songs, I think, from Moana are brilliant. And I listen to them every single day. And I usually am hyper-focused on one because that's the one I'm working on. And right now it's Shiny. I love that song. It makes me very happy because I think when people hear it, you either love it or you don't.
Okay.
And I think the villain is pretty cool. Sometimes, you have the stereotype villain, like the evil stepmother or the witch, but to have just this crab with this personality is different type of personality I think is a lot of fun. So Shiny would be my favorite song.
And that one line.
The line would be, I think I might misquote it, but the ocean chose me. I love that line.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one
think about the ocean. It's
the
biggest, vast, it's crazy. Oh, I love that actually, because here's something. I wish something would choose me. Like at the end of the day, you kind of think to yourself, it's like, well, I mean, honestly, and I am not taking it for granted. Thank you, Casey. You choose me. Rigby, you chose us.
There's a lot of things, yeah.
Yeah, there are,
a lot
right?
of things, yeah.
But the thought of the ocean chose me. It's like, damn. That's
but that
awesome.
could be anything in your life.
Yeah.
So I think that can apply. I believe that can apply to everybody.
I love that.
Yeah.
So Moana, when did was this something you've wanted to do for a year or like an hour, or was it something like you were like, you know what, I think kids might be into this, so maybe we'll have the kids do this one?
Yeah, it definitely was one that we were floating around for a while, and we were waiting for the right cast and for them to be the right age. I believe that it's important to introduce different worlds, cultures, and everything to kids. And I love our creative brains together. I think that's where the magic really happens. I think it's going to be a stunning production. I'm very excited.
That's awesome. You put on stunning productions.
Thank you.
You really do. It takes an amazing heart, and that's first and foremost, but also it takes an impressive brain.
Yes.
Yeah. You got a pretty amazing brain.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I definitely,
you do.
You know, where I feel the most comfortable, I think it's, you know, just the best time. It opens up so much color and creativity. But there are some times where I'm just like, why can't I understand this? You know, and it's the same brain. So it's just, I definitely know what I love.
I love that. And so, not only do you have you in this form that's doing all this, but then I guess last year, we're in April, you decided to take you, Tina, into a book.
Yeah.
So, explain that. The Adventures of Typical Tina.
Typical Tina, No, Typical Tina started years ago. I had the idea 10 years ago. Then I started writing the book about 6 years ago, and it went through a couple different versions. And knowing that I want to have it be a series, I know she's always going to do things. It started in the theme parks because that was my nickname, Typical Tina, at one of the theme parks. I believe it was Nickelodeon. I worked there for a little bit, and Ruben came up with Typical Tina, the name, and then I just ran with it, and I made a theme song and a bunch of different songs, and then I was like, you know what, I should probably write a book first, and that's how that all came about.
Do you remember the theme song?
Yes, it's in the book. Yeah, it's in the book. Yeah.
Okay, sing one line from it. One line.
All right. Let's see. My name is Typical Tina, independent and in charge. I really love to dance, and one day I will go far. Even though I'm always tapping, nothing gets in my way. My name is Typical Tina. Let's have a fun, spectacular day.
What?
Yeah, it's a little short. I think I grew up in the best time of like jingles. They don't have jingles anymore. So
Nobody
like
has
that's
jingles anymore.
I love that. So that was like heavily inspired by that, and also I started writing songs when I was probably 7. And my first song was about popcorn. And
that is the best song ever.
Thank you.
Best song ever.
Thank you.
I don't even need to hear. I want to hear it.
Yeah, no.
I do want to hear it because now every
love
time I
it.
have, that's my favorite thing at night. That's it.
Yeah, popcorn has always been one of my favorite snacks. So but again, we grew up in the house full of song and music and musicals. So I was just like, of course I'm going to sing about popcorn. Of course I'm going to sing about my best friend. Of course I'm going to sing about this. So I thought it was normal until someone told me it wasn't, and I was like, oh well, I'm gonna keep doing it though.
Okay, so thank God Casey's not here right now, because I guess I sing everything.
Yeah.
I guess I sing everything. Let's pretend a waiter is walking up right now, like there's somebody in the wait staff is walking up right now, and what do I want? So if it comes down to wine, okay, you and I love wine, so let's do that. Mm-hmm. So I guess if a Pinot Noir, how do I do it? She says I sing everything.
I think ordering. It's fun. Yeah, I think you should.
It would be this. It'd be like, let me get this Pinot Noir right here. Like something like that.
Yeah, very.
I never knew.
Yeah.
But, yeah, because now I try not to do it to see, and my brain just shuts off. Mm-hmm. So if I'm like, oh, wait, was it the Chianti Classico I wanted, or was it the Pinot Noir? And then I'm like, no, just sing it. Just sing it.
Sometimes, you just have to. I love it. It's just like cursive for your brain.
You and I need to do a video for when we release this episode, and it's just like us singing everything.
Every single thing.
We just do like everyday situations, but we're singing everything.
Again, I think if a lot of people did that, they would probably like just have just extra joy in their day.
Amen. And there's a song that I pass on to so many people. One of my friends, Nicole, her daughter, Madison. Maddie is huge, like amazing in wanting to do videography or photography. Mm-hmm. And even when she was writing her own songs when I was working, teaching kids. And to see where this girl's brain would go, where it would just be like, I'm very shy, I'm very timid right now. And then you're watching her hour by hour starting to like take over the class with kids and be like, all right, what if we did it this way? And the kids are like, oh, wait, let's follow her lead. And then she's starting like, everybody's like leaving this Apple store and she's the one making music and people are like dancing at the Genius Bar. And her mom always would just be like, the only thing I want to do though, I'm following her lead, is I want to sing. So I'd be like, Nicole, sing. And she would just be like, no, I can't. There was a band, Travis, from Scotland. They're from Glasgow, Scotland. It's my favorite city for music ever. Glasgow is the greatest city for music. They have a song called Sing on their album called The Invisible Band. And the album before that, The Man Who, I was just floored by it. It was just the greatest Scottish record ever, I felt at the time. And when I heard Sing, it was the first single off the album, I cried. Because it's Fran Healy, the singer, says, everything is just, for the love you bring won't mean a thing unless you sing, sing, sing. And I went, damn straight. I sing everything. Yeah. I do. And here's the thing. Do I have a good voice? I hope for podcasting I do.
but that's not important. I think, there's a lot of things that singing does to like the body. I think it's very soothing. It can be very soothing. I think that's why lullabies exist. And it also can be, I think, very healing. Especially if you're singing maybe an inspirational song or if you're singing maybe a happy song. But I listen to music every day. And depending on the depth of how you listen to music, I think it's really important to have. So if you love singing, I think that's just an added layer to it.
I love it. I do. And honestly, I'm home for a good 8 hours by myself a day.
Yeah.
So yes, my audience, Rigby, Shankly Paisley, they'll just be like, all right, this dude's singing again. I also feel that when I was growing up, and this probably was anywhere from when I was like maybe 13 to even last week, that when no one is home, I turn on the faucet, I lift up that little lever that now the water's in the shower, nobody else is in the house, guess what? I'm going to sing. I'm going to sing my head off. And in my head, I have an audience. There could be, even though I'm naked under the water, I'm all shy. When I'm singing, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm singing for thousands of people if I wanted to, or just one person if I wanted to.
Sure, yeah.
But that little karaoke session I'm having right now in the shower, that's like my favorite part of the day. That really is probably my favorite part of the day. And I still, to this day, will find time when no one's home to just
awesome.
Sing.
Sing
it. Yeah.
Have your solitude singing time. That's
solitude singing time. That's what I'm going to call it now.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. Because I think we all should. I mean, you just singing now. Goosebumps.
Thank you.
That is awesome. And it almost was like, I want to get her to sing on this podcast. I want to get.
Well, the hair happened. Here we are.
But it wasn't even like pulling teeth. It was the easiest thing. You were just like,
well,
I'll do it.
I mean, it's just like I don't. It's what I love. Typical Tina's heavily inspired. From my life, parts of it and stuff. So, I wrote that song years ago, and I wrote it for my niece, actually. There was a different version of the song first. I wrote it for my niece because she was starting kindergarten. And I, again, just loved songwriting. So it has a bigger story to it.
Now, when it came to writing the book, let's do this. What was like the original idea for Typical Tina, and did it come out the way you wanted it to come out? Is it something that you could honestly say like, yeah, no, that's the way I wrote it, that's the way I wanted it to be written, and then give us a little brief synopsis of what this book is also about?
Yes, the story always stayed the same, but the original story, she did have a puppy, and she doesn't have a puppy in this story. I think that's the biggest difference, alongside some layout, changes. But she is a 10-year-old tap dancer, and she wants to be a tapical. And a tapical is, in her mind, someone that is a professional tapper. But a tapical is someone that just has a joy and love for tap. So she is part of her dance studio, and I named the dance studio Tap into Theater Academy, so a huge shout out to my life currently. And she teleports to the Detroit Spectaculars, a big showcase that happens every year. Her solo was chosen, and she gets to perform, but she has to overcome a little bit of nerves to do that.
Me every day. I think that's awesome. No, that is such a great story, and it's out. It's published. You did it. Yeah. How'd that feel?
There was a little bit of, it felt a little strange. Ultimately, I was very proud, but there were definite feelings of like, wow, this is happening. This is real. I can hold the book instead of the pictures I printed out at Walgreens, and the book. I see my students, bring in the book to show me and have me sign it, and it's just a huge full circle moment. And I have a lot of people in a lot of different stages of my life congratulating me and happy for me. So that's also really rewarding. It's very surreal. I sometimes forget. I'm like, oh, wow, I did do that. That's really neat. Because I'm always on to the next thing.
I was just going to say, knowing you, and because now let's go on to the next thing. You have your own, tap dancing academy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I know it's like, okay, you guys are talking about it, but no, where did this come from? You have a tap dancing academy. Where was that birthed? And man, I know you're proud, but explain it. Yeah.
Well, I've been teaching for over 2 decades, and it has always been very special to me. I did teach a lot of musical theater for high schools. I was contracted out a couple different high schools, and even here and in Michigan, and that was always very fun to see the entire production of things, not just one aspect. And I loved it, and I've always loved theater. So when I was working for a lot of dance studios, a theater company, a few theater companies, and I just remember thinking, I think I was talking to Casey at the time. I said, I think I want to do this, and I'm going to call it Tap into Theater Academy. That just happened. It wasn't a different name. And I remember talking to Alice about it, and there wasn't a hesitation in her voice. It was only excitement. And I'm always the one that's like, well, but what about this and what about that? And she's like, we'll figure it out. And I'm like, okay. So that's how it happened. And, it started, and it just, there's no looking back.
No, there is no looking back.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much you're going forward. That's amazing. Seeing it is one of those things, because for me, it's so easy to being asked to, can you film this? Can you do things like that? And man, I remember just the first moment I walked into the room in a rehearsal. That was my first time being introduced to it. Mm-hmm. I think it was. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't just being there on the day of the actual production. It was, and the kids just gravitating towards me and just telling me everything that they were doing and how much they loved it. I went, oh my God, I'm going back to that moment when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and I loved it. Oh, and then I saw you. I saw you directing, because I had known you prior, and I was like, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Seeing Tina direct.
Yeah,
okay.
Miss Tina. Seeing Miss Tina versus Tina is definitely...
Oh, yeah.
Definitely different.
Yeah.
Same, skeleton. There's still
definitely,
that,
Definitely.
But I'm, in charge of, anywhere from 20 to 37 kids at the same time. And I'm grateful for it all.
Here's the one thing I appreciate from you 100% is that no kid gets favoritism based on the role that they're in, if it's the lead, all the way to maybe a stagehand, right? You gave me that when I was filming the kids, that I was going to make sure I filmed every single child that was either performing or a helping hand in it.
Everybody's a part of it.
Everybody's a part of it. And I remember doing that, going like, okay, and introducing myself to each kid, being like, okay, so say your name and what you're doing, your role, not your role as an actor or actress, but it was like, also, what do you do here? And it was awesome just to really get those kids to open up, and you could just see, like, whatever Miss Tina says, I'm going to do. And you had that since that first day I saw you, just that stern, okay, everybody. I went, with the camera in my hand, I remember turning around going, well, here we go. Yeah, here we go. And that never changed.
Yeah.
Because I know I did Shrek with you. I did Nemo.
Yeah. I don't know about
Didn't
Frozen.
do Annie, because Annie. Yes. Frozen was amazing. How do I forget about that?
Yeah.
Because the lighting in that was amazing.
Yeah,
and everything.
That was it was a stunning show and
that
a
was
beautiful
stunning.
story. Yeah. So, and definitely a favorite. There was so many like Elsas in the audience. It was super cute.
Oh, that was so. I don't think I really knew the story of Frozen. I don't think I'd seen it. I still don't think to this day I've seen the film.
Yeah.
But seeing the production, I was like, damn.
No, it's a great production. It's a great movie. I think it's definitely, it's a lot of people's favorites. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I actually was going through some of the videos that I was watching of, like, you know, when Casey and I are doing episodes, I want to be able to show people who she is.
Yeah.
And it was the makeup and I remember just going through all the stuff with all the kids, and I went, holy cow, man, how it went from Nemo was the first that I think I worked on.
No, Shrek. I think Shrek was the first one.
Okay,
and then
because
Nemo.
it does go in order. Yes.
Yeah.
So Shrek, then Nemo, and then Frozen, and then I know Annie happened after that. And man, how do you come up with these to be like, all right, we're gonna do this production? Because how many times did you do? There was one you did twice. Was it Annie that you did twice?
No, it was Matilda. We did Frozen twice. As far as like two casts, not
right.
Yeah,
right,
we
yes.
did. Yeah, so. Depending on the season and depending on the attendance, that's how that's based.
So it's like backed by popular demand kind of feel.
I mean, we definitely take a lot of time to talk through, and that's what we're doing currently with our last show of the season, our fall show. So that hasn't been released yet. So we're just kind of last minute because it's important. It's very strategic. I think people don't understand it, and that's okay. You don't have to understand it, but there's definitely a lot of thinking that goes behind every decision.
Yeah, don't understand it, just support it, and like your kids are in there,
or just trust the process. You know,
the process,
because I believe that we have proven and given the same amount of quality, and I mean the kids are so happy. They just beam on stage, and I sometimes am nervous when we have our own studio that the kids will want to live there. They won't leave. I'm just like, please, go home and come back. But so it's a lot of fun.
You have, I can't say so much on your plate, right?
Mm-hmm.
The book is now doing its thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned that a sequel, or not even a sequel in addition to the story line, like typical Tina isn't just like, this is what I do. Let's get more of what she's doing. And I love that. You have, obviously, more productions coming up. Mm-hmm. What is something that your brain's an overload? You're like me, and it has to be. I feel like you work better that way.
I think so, too. I think I have to have a couple different things happening because I need to take a break from something, and not as far a small break. Like I have to think about something different. So, and it has to be exciting because there's a lot of different things I have to think about, but they're not exciting. They're admin. They're making a choice, decision that will alter, the theater a little bit. So it's just. But I love that part. I can be creative all day. I can get lost in it.
I love to get lost in it, and I'm back. Like the fact that I can now do this again and just feel good to breathe and say, okay, who's the next one? What's the next one? And, you mentioned, you'd like to do content for your TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that feels good to do again. I hate being on camera. I hate it. But honestly, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. And it's stuff that I think people can learn from or talk about. And I think it's awesome. So, I always have to, right now, I feel like I always have to be creating something and doing something. And
I think it's
awesome.
necessary. I think it's a part of, I think it's a really special part in somebody. And I have to be creative at least once a day. It's just like brushing my teeth. I have to be like, okay, what am I going to work on?
Yeah. I think it's definitely from the moment I wake up. It's that grinding the coffee. It takes me 6 minutes to make a coffee. My timer can prove it. Because it's French press. And so I have these 6 minutes where I know Casey can't hear it. She's still sleeping. So I can't believe she doesn't hear the grinder going off. But the dogs are still asleep.
Mm-hmm.
They don't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this little section of the kitchen. And this is my time to go, all right, brain, spew it out.
Yeah.
Puke it out. What are we doing today? And how do I become creative with it? That is when I'm going to now create what the video I'm going to do of the day is. I don't come up with this stuff beforehand. It's like, okay, you just have to be natural. Be natural. And that's where I just go, okay, well, today is this day, or today's a day that this and this is happening. So, yeah, and then we just let the puzzle pieces fall into place and let that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I do that when I'm like in the shower. I'm like, okay, that's probably my time of like, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what I have to do. But that's what I do every day to kind of set up my day.
That's good. I'm rocking out. You're planning. I'm the one singing to the audiences that are not listening.
I think you should do that.
Maybe my neighbors are.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like,
No, I think you should do that. I think that's awesome.
They're like, oh, Brian's at it again. And you're just going to be, oh.
They should do it too. And then they'll be like, let's do it.
They need to.
Everyone does. Yeah. Like sing your favorite song.
Amen. Because that's all I do. I'm always listening to music. I mean, I know I have my audiobooks. But at the same time, there's so many of these content creators that do this, like, best songs of the 90s. And they're just, like, pointing at the song. And it's like, why are you only picking 9 or 10 when, there's so much music in one day that comes out? I'm just like, listen to music. Get out of these top 10s and all that. Get into so much.
Well, I think it depends.
So
I think it's very, music is very wide. So I think it depends, again, how you listen to music. I think there's a few different ways to listen to music. So it depends on that too. So.
Yeah, I love it too much. It's some of my favorite stuff just to have it on. And now it's becoming more accessible in the house as Casey's not hating everything I'm playing, where it's like, okay. So coming up to the future, I know we have Moana. Moana Junior is what day? What day is that falling on?
You're going to make me pull out my phone.
It's the 22nd.
Yeah, but I
Oh. Now, are there
idea.
two? Are there going to be two?
There's one cast.
Just one cast. Okay.
So, yeah, the
Okay.
22nd is a Thursday.
It is a Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, I was right. I knew it was like a weekday. And so there's one cast. Is this something you're used to now, or is this stuff that you're going to be doing more or less of like one cast? Or?
I like it. I mean, this year it was not what we were anticipating, but just like anything, you have to just kind of go with the flow and recreate and do that. So there was a lot of that. I'm very fortunate because it's given us the time to do things like this. And we were on the Sasandra show last month, and then we were on the news, the Tampa News for Typical Tina. So we've had a lot of fun opportunities happen, and it's just been a ton of fun to do that with the kids.
And recognition too is so important. The fact that the kids can be spotlit on TV or something like that. That's insane. That's great. That's great. Like,
I always think like what I would want when I was their age, and that
Yes.
would have been the coolest thing. Like missing school to go on TV, absolutely, or
Yeah.
going on a talk show. I watch them, perform, and I hear them talk about it, and they just light up about it, and it's very special for us to see that because it means a lot.
And you've had obviously kids in maybe the first few productions now going on to like, bye Tina, I'm going to college.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Like they're not going to be here forever.
No.
It's kind of like Hogwarts,
Yeah.
right? Like not saying they get 7 years, but it's like, all right, here, fly out of the nest, fly baby bird, now you're out. What's that feel like just to be like, okay, like here's been one kid that you're like, I can't wait. And now they're off and like.
Well, I've been doing it a very long time, and it's a special thing to see. Sometimes it's very sad, but for the most part, it is. I'm excited because I'm always, I try to have a conversation, especially with the graduating kids, and hopefully give them a strong piece of advice. And it's something, go do something cool. Make sure you continue to do cool things.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that their time with us, I hope that's really rewarding for them because it is for us.
Yeah, I remember recording one of the kids, and I was like, all right, so what is the role that you in the play that you're doing? And I remember them saying, well, this is the last one. And I went, I didn't think of that. Oh, God, that sucks. I didn't think of that. And I was like, oh, so like filming them, I'm ready to cry. I'm like, yeah, this is their last one.
But I think of it, I've tried to change my, definitely feel your feelings. I'm always going to say that. But I think it's exciting. I'm always like, hey, go explore, be the best person you can be, go do some crazy stuff. And
you get to help more kids now.
I think it's just, I like it.
So in Moana, how many roles are we seeing? How many acting roles?
Well, everybody has an acting role, whether they have speaking lines.
I guess, yeah.
I think that cast is about 26. Yeah, so it's a nice sized cast, and they're all just excited at every rehearsal. They're smiling and trying their best and giving a lot of good energy.
And now with Moana coming up in a few weeks, are we allowed? We're not saying the next one coming up.
Not yet.
But how's that one looking out? Without giving away anything about it, is this one that you've been wanting to do for a while, or
Moana?
Oh no, the next one after.
Well, it's between a few. So
okay.
Yeah, I think we have like a couple that we're looking at. So. Yeah, everything that we do, I have to be inspired by it. So it's just it's exciting. Yeah,
okay.
I just need to make a choice and just put it out there.
So we're going to go over some of the best ways to find you online and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what is the best way through social media? How do people get to watch what everybody's doing? What's the best way to find you on social media?
Definitely our Facebook. Right now, it's Tappin' Theater Academy. We have an Instagram too. We're working on our website, so that should be up shortly. And and we have a TikTok too. So we're in a lot of different areas. Shoot us an email, and we'll definitely get back to you.
Okay. So also when it comes to kids wanting to either audition or join the academy, what's the best way for them to find you as well?
Yes, Tappin' Theater Academy at gmail.com.
Awesome.
To get the information and to get a little bit of information about what you need for your auditions and what we're looking for, because we are accepting auditions currently for our summer intensive, and we're doing Seussical. So I'm very excited.
Oh, that's right. That was that one that I did too. Okay,
yeah.
So I got 4 under my belt. That's right. Okay, yeah. Seussical was intense. That was awesome. Man,
so
that was awesome.
We'll be doing it under my company. I was working for a different theater company at that time. So now I'm doing Seussical, and it'll be Tappin' Theater.
And how's that feel?
Well, the kids are just excited, so that makes me feel really good. Okay. Alice and I are both really excited. I guess excited. That's how I feel.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you kept saying it, so that's great. Any last thoughts? Anything on the brain that you wanna say?
Well, I'm really grateful for this time. Thank you so much for doing that.
It feels weird because there's so much I want to catch up on.
Sure.
I haven't seen you in forever.
It's been a moment.
Yeah. But then it's also like, this is everybody else's time with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best thing is that, honestly, you, me, Casey, we could always just grab a bottle of wine or a glass of wine anytime we want. But honestly, to have people hear this is so important. And this is something I have fell in love with from day one. Mm-hmm. When I saw you in the role and you directing and this was your academy, and I ran home to Casey going, man, this is it.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody like this.
Well, it's the start of something great, and we're building an empire, and I'm so grateful to be doing it alongside Alice because she has been a huge support and also elevates and brings her own talent and genius to everything that we do. So, again, I think we create magic together, and I am excited to share that with the world. I think the world needs a little bit of color and singing and dancing. And Typical Tina is also available on Amazon right now, so you can get that on Amazon. And sing and dance with us.
I love it. You didn't even have to look at me because the next thing I was like, where can you find the book? I was going to do like my hands.
Book.
Like I was going to be like, okay, and where can they find the book? That's so funny. I was like, oh, never mind. She read my mind. I love that our brains go that way. I thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Right? Okay. I get to do an outro out of this, so I'll do that. Okay. Well, thank you. And then, all right, stick around, everybody, and I'll be right back.